What happens when the city of dreams becomes the city of tents? In 2025, Los Angeles, once a shimmering symbol of the American dream, is crumbling fast. 195,000 people without homes, a 35% spike in just 1 year. Streets that once echoed with music now hum with despair. Is this still the land of opportunity, or a cautionary tale for the world?
Circumstances and put people out on the streets. It's not, people don't choose to sleep out in the street. Like, homelessness can happen to anyone.
Stay with Rome Kind as we peel back the layers of this unfolding crisis. The faces behind the numbers, the stories beneath the headlines. You won't believe what we found. Number 1. The entire city is now a shelter. Los Angeles, once the glittering city of palm trees, film sets, and Hollywood dreams, has morphed into a sprawling, makeshift campground. Sidewalks, parks, underpasses, even the little plazas are blanketed with tents, tarps, blankets. The city that never sleeps has become the city where thousands sleep outside. It's surreal, it's heartbreaking, and it's happening right now. Every turn brings the same scene. Nylon shelters packed along curbs, old blankets doubling as curtains, folding chairs doing double duty as bedside tables. Playgrounds host adults instead of kids. Fountain squares double as communal kitchens. Welcome to the new skyline of Los Angeles, a skyline made of plastic and hope. Is this what we thought Los Angeles was? Homelessness used to be something you saw only in Skid Row. But guess what? It's everywhere now. Near Venice Beach, tourists stroll past rows of tents. In Echo Park, rental bikes weave around makeshift kitchens. The contrast is jarring. It should alarm us. But here's the twist. Residents are getting used to it. That sense of shock, it's fading. That sense of crisis, it's being normalized. And that normalization, that's where danger truly hides. Under this veneer of daily life, infrastructure is quietly collapsing. Trash piles up like forgotten memories. Sanitation crews can't keep up. Public health hazards multiply. Mental health support grinds to a snail's pace. And with winter rains looming, these flimsy shelters won't survive. Then what? Will the city scramble, clean everything up, sweep the people away, fail again? Or will it shrug and say, "We're just used to it now"? When the extraordinary becomes ordinary, the real peril begins. And in LA, this new normal is anything but normal. What do you think? Should a city declare state of emergency when parks and streets become tent cities? Number 2, numbers that reveal a crisis out of control. Numbers don't lie, but they can numb. Let's peel back the stats to see the lives behind them. In 2025, the homelessness crisis in Los Angeles isn't a tragedy hidden in plain sight. It's a full-blown emergency flashing on billboards. Nearly 195,000 people now live without a roof. That's a breathtaking 35% jump in just 1 year, and a staggering 59% surge since 2013. Pause. Take that in. This is not a slow burn. This is fireworks, but it gets sharper. Of that massive number, roughly 75,312 individuals lack any form of shelter whatsoever. That's more than half, 59.9%, living in tents, cars, or on cold concrete. Think about that. More than 1 in 2 people have nowhere safe to sleep, and that percentage has climbed 27% in just 5 years. Have you ever wondered what these numbers actually cost us as a society? What's the ripple when children grow up without a stable home. In Los Angeles alone, nearly 30,000 children experience homelessness each year. Every one of those kids faces mental health challenges, interrupted education, and a precarious future. Ask yourself, can a city keep shining when its youngest members are already falling apart? And the crisis isn't temporary. Nearly 29,000 people have been trapped in long-term homelessness, living rough year after year. This isn't a blip. This is a becoming, a new way of life, a reality. People who once saw homelessness as a worst-case scenario now wake up to it every morning. Here's the punchline. Homelessness crisis is not just about tents or streets. It's about a city's heart rattling in its chest. If numbers were voices, LA would be screaming. So, what do you think? With statistics like these, can we stay silent and call it normal? Or is it time we all spoke up? 30,000 children, nearly 29,000 chronically homeless adults, 75,000 plus without shelter. These aren't just figures, they're roaring warnings. They demand action. Do you see them? Number 3. Success stories now living on the street. Forget what you think you know about homelessness. In LA today, even the American dream is just a few paychecks away from a sleeping bag on the sidewalk. Sounds dramatic? Sadly, it's not. Homelessness in LA has broken out of old stereotypes. Now, it claims former entrepreneurs, Ivy League graduates, professionals with advanced degrees, people who used to live the life many only dream about. Meet Daniel Reyes. 5 years ago, he was a software engineer at a leading fintech company in downtown LA. His resume? Impeccable. His future? Bright. Then came the wildfires of January 2025. His apartment building was reduced to ash. Insurance denied his claim. High risk zone, they said. Daniel tried couch surfing, tried renting. Rents skyrocketed overnight. Within 6 months, he was living out of his car, then on the street. Daniel's story is not rare. From a 6-figure salary to struggling for basic shelter. It's not addiction. It's not laziness. It's a broken system where even doing everything right isn't enough. No address, no job applications, no clean clothes, no interviews. It's a downward spiral that education alone can't stop. How many others? Too many to count. Former teachers, nurses, even ex-Google employees. If talent, hard work, and degrees can't keep a roof over your head in LA, what hope is left? But here's the thing, resilience runs deep. Daniel volunteers at a local shelter, helping others apply for tech training programs. His spirit hasn't broken, but the system certainly has. So here's the real question. Are we ready to rebuild more than just homes? Are we ready to rebuild trust, opportunity, and hope? Because here in LA, success has an expiration date, and stability is becoming a luxury no one can afford. What do you think? Can a city thrive when its brightest minds are left sleeping in the shadows? And if you're thinking, this could never happen to me, think again. In today's LA, even the brightest aren't immune. Comment below with just one word that comes to your mind after hearing Daniel's story. Then stick around. What's coming next might surprise you even more. Number 4. The high cost of economic inequality. In LA, you can swipe your Amex for a green juice at Erewhon for $10, or you can beg for a buck outside. 2 realities, 1 zip code. That's where we start. Economic imbalance masquerading as progress. The median home value in Los Angeles is $970,969, hitting a record high that makes middle-class dreams look like a cruel joke. Meanwhile, the national median is only $367,969. See the gap? That disparity doesn't just sting, it suffocates. Rents are another punch to the gut. As of the end of May, the average rent in LA is roughly $2,859, nearly 40% above the national average. If your take-home can't cover that, guess what? You're flirting with the homelessness crisis, plain and simple. Wages? Let's not sugarcoat it. Median personal earnings in LA County linger around $30,654 annually. That means rents alone eat up over 40% of income. Throw in healthcare, groceries, a surprise car repair, and poof, sanity disappears. A UC San Francisco study even found that many Californians would have avoided homelessness with just $300 more per month. Not $3,300, $300. It's not just about high taxes or fancy lattes. It's the daily grind of people who work 2 or 3 jobs yet still can't keep a roof over their head. You don't need a drug habit or mental illness to end up on the street. You just need a rent hike, a medical bill spike, or job loss. Support services crumble under pressure, shelters overcrowded, social workers stretched thin, mental health care hard to access. If the middle class is one paycheck away from the sidewalk, what safety net are we even talking about? How long before the entire city turns into a nation of outdoor sleepers? We want to hear from you. Have you met someone living like this? Ever wondered how a mailman, teacher, or nurse ends up without housing? Number 5. Undocumented immigrants. Invisible and unhoused. Invisible. That's the word. Not in spirit, in paperwork, in protection, in housing. That's how we begin this part, cutting right to the heart. In Los Angeles, by 2025, there are 900,000 to 1 million undocumented immigrants living in legal limbo. They're the backbone of LA, from cleaning homes and cooking meals to building mansions. And yet, when tent cities spring up, they're the ones you don't see in the stats or on TV. These folks pay their taxes, like the almost $96.7 billion in California alone, but ask them for rent help or a Medi-Cal check. Nada. No papers means no safety net. And when rents jump after the wildfires, think 15 to 20% increases, it's not the CEOs scrambling, it's these invisible families tossed onto the street. They can't rent legally, can't access government shelters, and they fear deportation if they seek help. It's not just housing, it's dignity, stability, identity. Invisible and unhoused isn't poetic, it's their daily reality. Ironic, right? A city so proud of diversity, yet so blind to its own backbone. Here's the kicker. Local systems like LASA and the County Office of Immigrant Affairs do offer services to undocumented people, shelter, translation, legal help, but fear and bureaucracy choke them. They exist, but can't exist safely. When a human being is treated as if they don't exist, is that justice? If these families can't even submit rental applications or look forward to tomorrow, what does that say about LA? About us? For thousands living in LA's shadows, the only certainty is uncertainty, and no address to call home. That's our closer. No melodrama, just a question hanging in the air. We see them now. Will we stop pretending they're not there? Number 6. A city overwhelmed by instability. A perfect storm is brewing in Los Angeles. Rising crime, buckling infrastructure, and boiling public frustration, all converging into a city under siege. This isn't drama, it's homelessness crisis colliding with system-wide breakdown. Start with the streets. Tensions flare in neighborhoods where tent camps grow daily. Reports show petty theft, car break-ins, and occasional violence rising in tandem with the visible crisis. When people sleep in public spaces, desperation bumps against daily life. Safety becomes a question no one wants to ask, but everyone feels. Then comes infrastructure. Healthcare centers see endless lines of people needing basic treatment. Emergency services are stretched thin. Sanitation crews are overworked. Streets clog with refuse. Bus stops smell like campsites. The noise of generators and rustling tarps become daily wallpaper. A city meant to shine is sputtering. What about transportation? Troubled. Buses reroute to avoid break-in hotspots. Riders skip stops. Riders feel unsafe. Maintenance costs soar. When public transit breaks, city life falters too. Ask yourself, does high taxes on the wealthy actually fix this? People feel they pay enough, and yet services crumble. That tension between paying more and getting less fuels resentment. Someone's laughing, just not the people in tents. Look at wealth contrast. On one block, you see bright glass towers, Teslas parked in driveways, valet services. A few blocks away, plastic shelters and sanitation trucks compete for space. The gap isn't ugly, it's intolerable. That's not disparagement, it's a realization. When the foundation cracks, the whole house shakes. LA is trembling. The question is, how long before it falls? What do you think? Does a city with modern infrastructure deserve to wobble under its own weight? If you believe a modern city shouldn't collapse under its own weight, comment "Fix LA" below. And stay tuned. What you'll see next may just change how you view urban life today. Before we go any further, don't forget to subscribe to the Roamkind channel. It's what keeps the channel alive and allows us to continue bringing you the stories that really matter. No filters, no distractions, just the facts. Number 7. Natural disasters leave no way out for the poor. Imagine fire season isn't just a headline, it's your everyday reality. In 2025, Los Angeles faced wildfires that leveled more than 18,189 structures in January alone. Nearly 200,000 people were evacuated. Think about that. Homes, businesses, memories reduced to ash in a blink. And for the poorest among us, it's not just loss, it's erasure. Rebuilding takes money. Insurance premiums have spiked. Many insurers pulled out of high-risk zones entirely. No coverage, no cushion. And if you're low income, there's no runway to start over. Your savings? Gone. Your options? Vanished. That's poverty in hard mode. But wait, there's more. The forecast now includes floods too. Climate models predict flash floods that could rival or eclipse the damage from the fires. When floodwaters rise, they don't negotiate. They wash away the fragile foundations of already fragile lives. The poor, they get washed away, literally and figuratively. Here's a reality check. Swiss Re and AccuWeather report that California's wildfire damage cost between $250 and $275 billion. Insured losses alone topped $40 billion. Those are national figures. But the impact is most brutal on locals who cannot access insurance or government aid. They live in an endless loop. Rebuild, disaster strikes, start over, no safety net. Do you see the pattern? This isn't cyclical, it's cumulative. Each disaster digs deeper into existing poverty. Each disaster adds a new scar. Rising rent, exploding recovery costs, no safety net. This is climate injustice at its rawest. So here's the question for you. In a city that's burning and flooding faster than it can recover, who gets left behind? And why do we let it be those who can't afford not to rebuild? 18,000 plus homes gone, 200,000 displaced, 40 billion in insured losses, billions more unaccounted. These aren't just numbers, they're erased lives. They demand we rethink aid, rebuild strategy, safety nets. Do you think the system can hold when the next fire or flood hits? Why or why not? Number 8. Sky-high rents push out the poor. Think rent was bad before. Add disaster-driven demand, sprinkle in greed, and you've got a perfect storm of displacement. That's exactly what LA is facing in 2025. Following the January fires, average rent climbed 15 to 20% in affected areas. And we're not talking cheap studio apartments. These are real homes, pushing homelessness crisis into higher gear. For families barely scraping by, asking them to match bids for housing is like asking them to outrun a speeding car. Luxury apartments in Bel Air, they went from $13,000 to $23,000 a month, a 77% surge. That's a down payment on a house for many. Suddenly, the middle class is priced out, the working poor evicted, and the streets gain new residents overnight. Rents aren't just numbers, they're barriers. Landlords now demand multiple months up front, 2, 3, even 4. No savings, no lease. Those with marginal income can't compete and are left to choose between a cramped car or a cold sidewalk. It may sound dramatic, but it's exactly what's happening. Poverty isn't abstract. It's the rent notice you can't pay. What does this do to a city's soul? It fractures it. You walk through neighborhoods once humming with life, now whispered empty. The contrast stings. Multi-million-dollar mansions, 3 blocks from tents and blankets. Suddenly, LA looks less like a vibrant city and more like a photo op for inequality. Can a city thrive when so many can't afford to live in it? When home becomes a privilege for the few and an impossible dream for the rest? It's a question we all need to answer, because unless rents stop rising, LA's future might be cold rooftops instead of rooftops with views. Rents have become the front line of displacement, but displacement is reversible if we choose to act. So tell me, should rent control be stronger? Should affordable housing be the priority? What would you do? Do you think LA rents have gone too far? Type yes if it's out of control, or no if you think it's still manageable. Number 9. Insurance is no longer a safety net. Remember when insurance meant peace of mind? In LA 2025, it feels more like a punchline, until the punch comes. That's where we begin. Not with arson or earthquakes, but with the quiet moment your insurer says, "We won't renew." In the past 5 years, over 100,000 California homeowners lost private home insurance, 72,000 alone from State Farm. No homes, no coverage, no recovery plan. Then came the January wildfires, the Palisades and Eaton fires, destroying over 18,000 structures and displacing more than 200,000 people. Insurance companies responded by hiking premiums or canceling policies altogether. State Farm cut 72,000 policies. Allstate, Farmers, Chubb, and others stepped back too. Suddenly, climate risk equals insurance paralysis. And when private insurers leave, folks are pushed into the FAIR plan, the state's last resort coverage. But guess what? FAIR covered 22% of Palisades' fire-destroyed homes, with only $377 million in reserves to back up over $4 billion in claims. That's like bringing a water pistol to a forest fire. If your insurer bails and FAIR barely has the funds, what happens when disaster strikes? How do you rebuild a life, a home, a sense of security? We want your thoughts. What would you do if your policy got cancelled tomorrow? Would you stay, migrate, or give up? Sound off below. And let's figure out together what safety means in LA's new normal. Number 10. Degrees won't save you from the street. They told us education was the great equalizer. In LA 2025, it's not even enough to secure a mailbox. That's our opening. Sharp, honest, a little spark of dark humor. Meet Daniel Park, a software engineer with a master's in computer science, someone who should, by all measures, be immune to poverty. But after losing his job during a round of mass tech layoffs and his home to an unexpected flash flood in East LA, he found himself without an address, no degrees, no job, no stability. Welcome to the paradox, a city where education fails as a shield. So what does Daniel face every day? No home address equals no job applications. No shower equals no interviews. He's not alone. Across California, homelessness surged. In January 2024, 187,000 people were homeless, 2/3 unsheltered. And study after study shows this crisis isn't driven by addiction or mental illness. It's structural, tied to housing unaffordability. Here's the twist. Daniel isn't just another case. He's an expert. He knows systems. He's tried everything. Yet the system, it ignores him. No safety net, no recovery pathway. He's educated, experienced, yet invisible. This is not the American dream. It's an irony. Degrees won't save you from the street. Let's talk homelessness crisis. In numbers, national homelessness rose 18% in 2024. In California, 2 out of every 5 homeless were chronically homeless. That means long-term, stuck. So even smart, skilled people like Daniel don't stand a chance when faced with systemic collapse. If Daniel can't bounce back, who can? When a master's degree can't buy stability, what happened to meritocracy? And if the orchestrators of our future, engineers, teachers, scientists, can end up on the pavement, what hope is there? If even the best prepared are falling, what hope remains for the rest of us? That's our closer. No grand finale, just a punch that lands. Education is not a safety net. It hasn't been for years. Now maybe it's time we question why and what we do next. So here we are, Los Angeles, once a sun-drenched postcard, now a cautionary tale in slow motion. It's easy to blame systems, leaders, the weather, or fate. But maybe this isn't about blame. Maybe it's about asking, if a city like LA can slip like this, what about the rest of us? What does your city's reflection look like today? And what might it show tomorrow? This was Romekind, and you've been watching LA in crisis. No moral of the story here, just a mirror. You decide what to do with it.